Let's talk about Morbius, guys. Morbius opened in the theaters yesterday, and everybody's been flaming this movie and asking the question, does Morbius suck as bad as people say? It's not a good movie, but it's not as terrible. It's not as a 15% that's on the tomato meter. It's not that. And when I think about bad movies, I just watched a bad movie yesterday, and that movie was called The Bubble. And that is a truly awful movie, worthy of a 15% on the tomato meter. Morbius is not a very good movie, but it's not worth the 15% that the tomato meter is giving. And we'll take a look at that tomato meter right now. Let's go over to the website there and take a look at the tomato meter. 17%, and it's sitting at 67% with the audience score. Now, I was really hyped for this, and you can see on this channel my trailer reactions. You can see my anticipation was getting up there. I had high hopes for this. And then I saw the early reviews, and the early buzz was not good, guys. It was not good. And I didn't want that to taint my viewings, but it did. It did. I went to see it this morning in a cheap viewing, because if you see it before noon hour, then it gets... it's like half off. And that's what I would say. That's exactly what I would say. Do not pay to go see Morbius at full price. And definitely don't see it in IMAX. It's not worthy of that. Don't waste your money, for sure. See it on a cheap Tuesday. See it on matinee for half price. This is not something where you're going to be wanting to watch more of it. It's not something you're going to want to revisit right away. It's just there, guys. It's just a Morbius movie. It's not as bad as some people are saying, though. It's not like you want to walk out of the theater. Its pacing moves okay. Like, it does go rather quickly through things. But when it goes that fast through some things, you lose the ability to develop character. And this does not have any character in it. And what I mean by that is, like, yeah, there's Morbius and Jared Leto, but you're not really rooting for him. He's just there. You know he's the main character, but you're not on his side. You're not really saying, yeah, I want Morbius to win because he's cool. But no, you're not like that. He's just there. The story seemed to have focused on Jared Leto and Matt Smith's relationship. Because they were young friends. It starts off with them being younger, and then talking about montages. We got montages in The Bubble yesterday, and then we got montages of Matt Smith dancing. Shades of Spider-Man 3. Matt Smith dancing like, look at me, I'm cool. I'm gonna bust a move. And I'm sitting there going, oh. I'll tell you this, though. They did hit on something that I did like at the end. Adria Arjona is the standout for me in this movie. And this is the best thing that I can take out of this movie is her. She's been put on the map because of Morbius, for me at least. And I'm going to pay attention to her work. And she's like, they're both, she's a doctor working with Jared Leto to cure his disease, right? And it should have been about them and their love for each other that just gets kind of tacked on at the end. And that's what that movie should have been focusing in on, because that's far more interesting than the two sort of friends butting heads. If you had a love, you're turning into a vampire, and you go into that kind of trope again, like Dracula. But you're trying to harness and master this Morbius entity that's in you now, and then you fall in love with your coworker. That would have been more interesting. IMDb, I see, also listed Michael Keaton as Adrian Toomes. And I guess, guys, there's no point in talking about this as if it's a spoiler or anything. We knew that this was going to be relegated to the post-credit scenes, and it's awful. It's terrible. It's one of the worst shoehorned things in that I've ever seen in a long time. And I guess they brought Michael Keaton's Vulture over from the other universe. So he's no longer going to be in Tom Holland's Spider-Man's universe. I don't know what the hell you guys are doing. It's terrible. Terrible execution of the story. And my impression for Morbius, guys, my overall impression is not as bad as the 15% or 17%. And it's not as good as the 67%. I give Morbius a 5 out of 10. And I feel like that's being generous. 5 out of 10 for Morbius, because it's something that I don't really want to see any more of. The flying around stuff was kind of cool towards the end. They should have cut out about 10 minutes of the stuff in between, because you know that they were going to face off at the end. You know he was going to win at the end. So I felt like it was just like, get on with it already. That's what I felt like, especially in the second act. Towards the end of the second act, it was just kind of like, Morbius. Does it suck as bad as people are saying? No. That's the final thought, is that it doesn't suck as bad as people are saying. It's definitely not a 17% on the tomato meter. It's not that bad. It's not something awful, because as I said yesterday, I did a review for Netflix's The Bubble with Karen Gillan, and yeah, that was terrible. But this Adria Arjona is somebody that I'm gonna have to take a look at her career, because she really stood out, and I'm looking forward to seeing more work from her. I guess we can pull up her IMDb page, right? Yeah, we could do that. Why not? We're doing this live. And we'll take a look at what she's got coming down the pipe for her works. Irma Vep TV show. Los Verkus. Father of the Bride. They're remaking that. What the heck is... She's going to be in Andor. Cool. That Star Wars series. Andor. She's going to be in that. Cool. Father of the Bride. Father is coming to grips with the daughter's upcoming wedding through the prism of multiple relationships within a big, sprawling Cuban-American clan. Huh. So they're remaking that. That was with Steve Martin, right? Okay. But they're putting like a Latino spin on it. Interesting. But definitely, for sure, Adria Arjona, you are on my radar, and I will be looking forward to seeing much more work from you in the future, for sure. And that's my Morbius review. Let's not drag this on anymore. Now, guys, normally on Saturdays we do a little horror movie news show, but I was out this morning watching Morbius. So I just pulled a few articles that we're going to talk about. And if you don't know, we do a movie news live show every weekday, Monday to Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern. I implore you to come and join us, because we actually go through the movie news headlines like we're going to do right now at a rather quick pace. And if you want to follow me on all the social media handles out there, I implore you to, I encourage you, come on. Hey, this is a lot of fun. Don't worry, I cover everything. We got trailer reactions, movie reviews, we got live shows. So, there's going to be lots of stuff for everybody. We got Survivor watch-along parties. We got movie watch-along parties. We just did The Bubble. The Adam Project is up on the channel. The new Texas Chainsaw is up on the channel. Art Glass Vikings in the live chat says, at least you've satisfied your curiosity and watched Morbius. Fair review. Yeah. And that's something that I wasn't... like, if it was terrible, like awful, I would have told you guys. You saw my reaction to The Bubble. That was terrible. And I didn't hold any punches. I was just like ready to pull my hair out at that one. And Morbius was not like that. It was not a good movie, but it wasn't as terrible as people were saying. Okay, so let's go through some of the headlines that's out there today. The Crow reboot to star Bill Skarsgård with Rupert Sanders directing. So this is finally getting off the ground again. And they found their Crow. Eric Draven is going to be played by the guy who played Pennywise in the It movies. Bill Skarsgård. Cool. Fascinating. Now, I'm sure they don't give a release date as of yet, but now that they got a lead in place, because it was going to be Momoa for a while, but then they got rid of that. Now they got a director, the guy who made Snow White and the Huntsman. What? He didn't direct that. He didn't direct that. Ghost in the Shell will direct the remake. No. Snow White and the Huntsman was directed by that guy who made out with Kirsten Stewart, who was married. What the heck? It is Rupert Sanders. Huh. And he did Winter's War. I liked Winter's War a lot more than I liked Snow White and the Huntsman. Yeah, you disgraced yourself with my Kirsten Stewart. The Crow reboot has been ramped up again. Bill Skarsgård as Eric Draven. Can't wait. Yeah, and as long as they bring in some colorful bad guys for him to face off, and, I don't know if they're going to rehash that same story that, I'm sure they're going to rehash the fact that his girlfriend or wife got killed and he's going to come back for revenge. But I don't know if they're going to rehash that whole situation of how that happened. Like in the building, they got evicted, and his T-Bird's crew had their way with his woman. I don't know. I hope they don't go that way, but you never know. And I'll tell you this about Bill Skarsgård. Even if you didn't like the It movie or It Chapter 2, he was still good in it. And you can tell that he's a good enough actor that he'll be able to give some range and depth to Eric Draven as the Crow. And that's interesting. That's an interesting story. So we'll talk about this probably a little bit more on Monday as well. This will be probably one of the leading off headlines. Yeah, interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments below, or if you're in the live chat. Arglass says the Crow reboot has been ramped up again. Bill Skarsgård as Eric Draven. Can't wait. Yes. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, let's go over to Joe Blow and see what they've got for us over there. Virus 32 trailer. Gustavo Hernandez, South American zombie film comes to Shudder in April. Now this, I looked at the trailer for this, and yes, it's a zombie film, and I got shades of Wreck with this. It's a subtitled movie, so that'll turn off some people. But I definitely got shades of Wreck or Quarantine. They remade it, the American version. Like it makes the virus, people chase you and stuff like that, and they get holed up in a building. That's what I got from this trailer. And Virus 32 is going to be out on Shudder. Uruguayan zombie horror. Uruguay. So it's from Uruguay. A virus breaks out and chilling massacre races through the streets. Okay, so people take up hold. And okay, well, I'll keep my eye on that. 32 Seconds to Live. Yeah, very much like Wreck, if you've ever seen that. It looked like that kind of handheld. It's not a found footage film, but it's got that vibe to it. Virus 32. Okay, let's move on. Shark. Do you like shark movies? Shark Bait. Now, this doesn't look all that good. Here, this shot that they chose to use here doesn't look all that good. Shark Bait trailer loads up on Shark Attack Carnage. Now, I actually did watch the trailer, and it's actually not that bad. No, it's probably a CG shark, but the premise of this is that a bunch of people are out on their jet skis, and it runs out of gas or gets run down, and they get stuck out in the middle of the ocean, and the shark comes along. And I found that was an interesting premise. That was cool. Okay. It's small. It's a little bit of an indie flick, and it's I thought that it was fairly effective. So if you like shark movies and you like lower budget stuff, people trying to go for the big goal, this doesn't look all that bad. And there's not a point for me to do a trailer reaction to it or anything, but I got shades of what's that movie where those couple get lost while scuba diving and then sharks go around them. What's that movie called? It's not The Reef. It's a little bit like The Reef. I forgot what that movie is called. I can't even look it up because I don't know the name. But it's kind of like that. Check out international trailer for James Nunn's edge of your seat spring breaker survival thriller Shark Bait. It's going to be tasty. And but it's got that lower budget thing into it, and I don't mind that, man. Now some of the effects there towards the end, it definitely has a little bit of that cheesy B movie schlock to it, and that's okay. That's all right. I got no problem with that. Shark Bait. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments below. All right. It's going to be a quick show today, guys. It's a weekend. It's nice weather outside. I'm going to go for a walk later on today. And open water. Thanks, Artglass. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Open water. It's a little bit like that because they're not in the water, but they're on top of the water on the jet ski, and sharks are coming around, right? So I'll keep my eye out for that. I pulled this other article out on from Joe Below. This is Bloody Disgusting. Southern Gothic horror film What Josiah Saw lands at Shudder. And the only reason why I pulled this is because I saw that it's got Nick Stahl in it. And it's going to have Robert Patrick, so it's going to be two people from the Terminator franchise going to be in this movie. Everyone in town knows about the haunted Graham farm on Willow Road. So it's going to be about a haunting on a farm after being away for 2 decades. After being away for 2 decades, Josiah's eldest children, Eli and Mary, are enticed to sell the property and reunite at the old farmhouse in hopes of closing the haunting chapters of their lives. Now, this is going to be out on Shudder. So, the only reason why I want to point this out is that Nick Stahl is actually, he's been on Fear the Walking Dead. I was looking at his resume, and he's turned into a fairly interesting actor. And I want to give a shout out to a movie that's on Netflix right now too, called Hunter x Hunter, where Stephen Sawa is back in this movie. Haven't seen him in a while. He was from the Final Destination. And it starts off like this recluse family that he's living off the grid, and they go out to find their traps, or something's going on with their traps, and this character played by Nick Stahl comes along. The family has issues with him. So, and it turns bloody, it turns violent, it turns very violent at the end. And Camille Sullivan, fantastic job in this. And it was good to see Devon Sawa back. And that's why I pulled that article, and that's where we're going to end the show today. If you want to look for a nice little horror movie romp, it's a quick hour and 33 minutes. It's on Netflix right now, Hunter x Hunter. I'd check it out because that ending, shades of Texas Chainsaw Massacre is all I'm going to say. And the bad guys definitely do get their just desserts, their comeuppance in this film. And that's just a horror. Well, it's not really. I guess it is sort of a bit of a horror, but I would. That's my recommendation for that. And that's the way that the horror movie news has been pretty much for this week. I know that there was that It prequel series that was announced, but we talked about that on the weekly live show. So if you're watching this afterwards and you saw the Morbius review, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a taste as to what we do here on this channel too, by showing you how we go through some of the news cycle and how I don't chop everything out and try to make it long diatribes. And that's not my bag here. I like to go through it rather quickly and just be aware of what's going on. Oh, hey, that poster says January. Morbius was supposed to come out in January, and I think it should have, but I'm going to have to be paying attention to the box office, because it was projected that Morbius was going to make 40 to 50 million this weekend, and I don't think it's going to hit that number. I was more thinking around the 30 million range, because it didn't do very good on Thursday. And that's what we're going to talk about on Monday when we do the box office roundup. We'll talk about how much money Morbius made. Guys, it's the weekend. It's nice and warm outside, well, at least where I'm living. If it is, go out and enjoy the sun. I'm going to take this down and see wash out my face with the sun. That's exposure, guys. See, if you took a lighting class, I would have to adjust the exposure on my camera to make sure that I'm not all washed out. But I just want to show you guys how nice it is out there. The potential for how nice it is. It's overcast, but it's there still is sun coming through. So I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna enjoy the day, guys. I hope you enjoy your weekend. I hope you enjoyed this little show. If you've never seen anything from me before, leave a comment in the comment section. I will always do my best to respond. I'm a little bit behind, but I'll get to that today. And enjoy your weekend. All right, peace.